Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I'm your Revolver Shorty, and today we're going to be discussing Penguin, the Penguin. A little thing from Tom King, who you may have heard of. He's good. I like him. I've talked about him a lot. And at the moment, it's kind of nice to have something by him that I am going to be exceptionally positive about, because a couple of times recently, I've bounced off it. I think Danger Street is an example of something where he's trying something cool. And I've heard people say that maybe it's worth sticking around until he finishes it and reading it all again. But comic books come out monthly, man. I don't want to tell you. I want to enjoy it every issue when it comes out. I don't want it to feel like a slog. And I could carry on talking about all the stuff he's done. I could tell you about how much I like his vision and how much I loved his Mr. Miracle and all that kind of stuff. But we're here to talk about Penguin. And there's a lot I do like about it. First, I'm going to talk about that artwork. Del Toro is an absolute legend. He does an absolutely fantastic job for this one. There is not a bad panel in it, even when there's not much happening. It feels like there is just so much effort put into making everything exactly as it needs to be. Characterization is just absolutely on point. Like, I have no bad things to say about it. Even the Penguin having lost some weight and not looking as stereotypically Oswald Cobblepot as he usually does, I think it still works. He's still distinctly the Penguin. There's something about how he holds himself, and here we get into just how the characterization works, where it's the writing, because this is the big bit. This is the bit that really sells it for me, because in terms of story, Tom King is doing a pretty good crime noir thing here. It's so far not really anything out of the ordinary. It ties in with one of his actually quite good things he did a while ago, where basically a bit of a flashback incident where he reintroduces some characters and adds to their backstory and basically makes them a bit more part of the Gotham, particularly Batman lore. And it's basically one of them who's I think an FBI agent or something similar, who got shot in the face but survived, and she's basically going to get Penguin, who has retired, to go back and reclaim his throne. Basically become the king of Gotham Underworld, but very much under the protection of the FBI, so they can use it to take down Batman. Yeah, that's sensible. That's going to work. And yeah, it's not really the most complicated, the most convoluted, even the most original plot, but it works really effectively because of the characters. The FBI agent is fantastic. All the little side characters you meet throughout are brilliant. He does write a fantastic Batman, but it's mainly the Penguin. This is a story of him, and it works for a couple of reasons. First off, there has been a tendency recently to give villainous characters a more sympathetic backstory. And I do like this, because I don't like the idea of anyone who's inherently evil or is going to do criminal things because of who they are. Quite often, the only people who don't seem to be let off from that are the truly insane. And whether or not they can be judged to be evil because of their insanity is a long, complicated story. Or there are people who are rich and want to stay rich and don't mind who they screw over to make sure that they maintain their privilege. This means we had, even like in the Maurice of Puss in Boots movie, an absolutely fantastic bad guy. And in Daredevil, we had the Strongman family. It seems to be that this is where they're going for people who are actually evil for the sake of evil, because they see themselves as being above anything else. And Penguin was never quite that, but his backstory kind of is at least vaguely sympathetic, that he's somebody who has had terrible things happen to him and is doing his best to make sure he's never in a position where people can do that to him again. But the extra bit of it, the thing that makes it more very Tom King for me, is it riffs a little bit off his One Bad Day thing for Riddler. And don't get me wrong, all the One Bad Day things were way, way better than I thought they were going to be. But it's this idea that in a world where Batman is the hero stopping people, and if he's successful in stopping them, they have to be, pretty decent bad guys if they get away with it for a long period of time. Hence the Riddler being like this absolute super genius, way more than anyone expected. He was kind of happy to have just played games with people, but once he realised he could just get away with it, he did, and he was terrifying. The same thing we have with Penguin. The FBI agent points it out quite nicely. In the city where Batman was pounding devil snot out of any criminal element he wanted to, how did the Penguin always manage to keep going under that radar and keep playing it off as the buffoon and manage to make millions with a huge, vast criminal enterprise? And it is fantastically well written. I mean, there's a brilliant bit where she referred to Penguin as, "Oh, and you're a clever one." No, Edward's the clever one. Ivy's the funny one, like the dedicated one. And he goes through all the various characters, including Joker's the crazy one. And so, who are you? Oh, haven't you heard? I'm the fat one with the umbrella. Whack, whack, whack. And it is just absolutely brilliant, deadpan writing, and it just makes him seem even more sinister. And when she sends other people around him, everyone is terrified of this short, chubby guy with the big nose. It is fantastically well done that you find yourself believing it. The full depth of this character is 100% terrifying, but also at least vaguely sympathetic. And yeah, I'm hugely there for it. I'm definitely reading the rest of the series. And after some iffy Tom King things recently, it is fantastic to see him back on full form doing the kind of writing he does really well, letting 9-panel pages drop in whenever he feels like it, working with an absolutely amazing artist, and letting the character speak to the story rather than just making a story and putting characters into it. And yeah, I'm a huge fan, huge fan, really like it. That's it for me today. Hopefully another review before too long. Make sure you hit like and subscribe, things so you don't miss out on anything. Until then, look after each other, everyone. Stay safe. Bye.